Hi, everybody. It's Jack McCullough again. And the conference is coming right up. It's June 7th through June 9th. And I want to chat a little bit about that. I'm joined today by Ross Tennenbaum. Ross is the CFO of Avalara. Ross, welcome. Great to see you again.
Hi, Jack. It's always great to see you. Thanks for having me. We're excited to be part of this year's CFO Leadership Council Conference as a platinum sponsor. Thanks for having us.
No, we're thrilled. And Avalara, I know you've always been a great company, but I think your importance has only risen in the last year or so. But why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you guys do and what the magic's all about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're a cloud software company for transactional tax compliance. So what do I mean by that, Jack? It's about sales tax in the U.S., VAT and GST globally, and even customs duties and import taxes. And our strategy from the beginning has really been about plugging into all the systems, the business applications where transactions happen. So your ERPs, your billing systems, your point of sale systems. Nowadays, you got e-commerce platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce. You got marketplaces, Amazon, Etsy, StockX, all kinds of systems where businesses are now omni-channel doing transactions. So we have more than 1,000 signed partner integrations. We just plug into all these with connectors so that wherever your business is doing transactions, we can do the calculation and we can aggregate all that data to do your returns and other compliance needs. And so, like I said, we've seen a lot of our businesses and customers go omni-channel, and we see a rising pain point from, hey, I got many systems. I used to just be stores, but now I'm e-com and I'm marketplaces. And the way I have been doing tax compliance in the past, often manual ways of doing it, are really becoming a challenge. And we're finding that customers need more automation. And so that's really led to some strong years and some strong growth for Avalara as a company as we help our customers tackle their transactional tax compliance needs.
Yeah, I mean, my members rarely did they talk about your company 2-3 years ago, but now it's certainly on the forefront of their minds. You bring them some great value, and so you perhaps don't have the best timing in history. This was actually your first CFO job, and you took it right around the time the pandemic started, right? So like last April or so.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I worked with the company. I was in investment banking. I'm a recovering investment banker for many years, and Avalara was my client. And I had taken the company public in 2018, and then joined them shortly after. So I came in an operating role with a path to CFO. But you got it exactly right. My timing was impeccable. We transitioned, and I took over officially April 1st, about 2 weeks after we all really realized the reality of this pandemic. So that's exactly the right timing, Jack.
Yeah, it's well, at least you had the advantage. You knew the business inside and out. So it wasn't like an outsider coming in, which I've known a few like that. So
that would have been difficult. But it was an interesting time. Yeah.
Cool. So rookie CFO, even though veteran executive, what were some of the biggest challenges you had your first year in that role?
I just going back to your point about April with COVID, I remember vividly. I'll never forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, pulling out my hair. This is when I really began to look like you, Jack. I just the rest of my hair got pulled out.
Dream come true.
I started modeling all these scenarios. Hit the model, scenario analysis. Most of them, like many CFOs, were downside trends. What could happen here, as a result of this pandemic? And I remember my CEO called me, really great leader, great optimist, great leader, just someone you want to follow. And he said, this is going to be one of the most important events, and this is great for our business. I was here in 2007 to 2009, the Great Recession, and everyone was looking for efficiency and automation, and our business did really well and accelerated. And he walked me through, he's like, we've always been driven by the adoption of cloud, regulatory changes, but in these tough times, people look to automate, and people are going to accelerate their businesses to e-com and omni-channel, and that's going to take them from local sellers with limited complexity for tax to global and regional national sellers with many complex tax requirements in many jurisdictions. So he walked me through his whole thing, and he's like, this is the most important thing. What I learned, Jack, is, we as CFOs, tend to think about, most of them that I know at least, we think about the downside, the what could go wrong, the risk management, very important part of the business. And it's very important to have that balance between the CEO and the
Oh, yeah.
CFO. But what I learned is it didn't even matter if he was right or wrong, if it went well or not. It ended up going really well for us. But what I learned was about the leadership aspect of it, about in these tough times, you've got to do your job and look at the downside, look at the risk and protect the business. But you got to find the opportunities within the challenges and adversity. And you got to figure out how to rise up as a good leader and help your team. Just like he helped me understand the potential, right or wrong, and he was right. I had to help my team understand the potential and how they have to gear up and change and be flexible to help execute so that we could help our customers. And the interesting thing was we saw many customers, they went e-com, they had all these complexity, they adopted. On the other side, we saw customers that, were really challenged and they needed some relief and they needed some help. And so we did our part, to help all types of businesses going through all different types of challenges and opportunities throughout the pandemic last year. So it was a great learning experience from the leadership perspective, more than just the pure CFO perspective.
Right. Sounds like you got a mini MBA along the way. So good for you.
Yeah, exactly.